Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is, wherever in this vast world it is that you are. Welcome once more to another live stream of Alexandra Mayers Live, page by page, reading and commentary of the modern English version of the Bible. I'm your hostess, Alexandra, and on a personal note, I had a rather interesting weekend. I won't say it was eventful. I'll just say it was interesting. Actually, before I get into it, let me make sure that the audio is okay on this stream because you know how that can go sometimes. Just give me a moment. All right, let's see. Do we have audio? Yeah, it's good. I just wanted to make sure. So, anyway, over the weekend, I decided that I wanted to take my e-scooter out, and I found what at least appeared on the internet superficially to be the perfect place to ride my scooter. Nothing but, for the most part, paved path. Um, it didn't look like a highly trafficked area. I was excited, got in the car, put the scooter in the back, took the trip to the path. It was about, with traffic, about 2 hours from my original place of where I was traveling to from. Got on the scooter, started acting a little stupid because I was live streaming. Started saying a little rhyme with a word I probably shouldn't have been using. Wasn't looking close enough to where I was going, and I crashed into a curb and basically flew over the handlebars. Ended up with a lot of scrapes and bruises. Fortunately, I was wearing my helmet. I really don't know in hindsight how I didn't get more hurt than I did. I was so blessed in that situation. I really was. It's a good thing I already started, kind of working out a bit more than I usually do before that accident, because I'm sure that that got my body a bit more flexible than it was before. And flexibility can save you in an unexpected fall or crash, however you want to deem it. And then on top of that, immediately, almost upon me hitting the pavement, a good Samaritan, possibly an angel, came by, asked if I was not only okay, but ran to wherever he lived or was, and came back with a bottle of water and an iced tea, and just kind of hung out with me, probably to make sure I didn't have a concussion or that I wasn't going to pass out, for a few minutes while I pulled myself together to get on with the rest of my day. What's interesting about that situation, too, and what's crazy, the whole thing I live streamed. If you guys wanted proof of what I'm saying, you could actually watch it over on my IRLnewsTime channel. But the guy who helped me, ironically, I mean, this was so strange, but I think it was God, really. I truly do. I have no doubt about this, actually. He was from Houston, which is where I just came from. Um, he was saying that he had just had someone pass away in his life also. And then on top of that, he looked kind of like a younger version of my dad. It was strange. I wouldn't say exactly, not exactly, but it was just a lot about him that reminded him of my dad. So this morning when I woke up, um, and I was sitting outside having some coffee, I had a brief conversation with my dad spiritually to say thank you. Because I think my dad was looking out for me that day. That was this past Saturday. I know. Well, you know what I'm going to do? Someone is in the chat. How are you doing, He-Man? Yeah, I'm going to get some wrist guards because I have very small, thin wrist. I've never broken my wrist. I think I have a little arthritis in my wrist. I don't feel it here because there's almost no humidity, but I think my wrists are weak, so I think I need to get some wrist guards. And I just feel like if I'm gonna do streaming on the scooter, I might as well get elbow and knee pads too. I mean, some people have laughed at me because I know some people they don't wear any safety gear when they're on the e-scooters or e-bikes, but I mean, I'm 46 years old. I'll be 47 next year. My body doesn't always respond the way that it used to. um, but yeah, the only my face I did get like swelling on the right side. Like all my injuries are on the right side of my body. I did lightly hit my right cheekbone. Didn't break or anything, at least not from what I can tell. I have full, facial movement and everything, but it's still a little swollen. But then again, my face is kind of skinny, so it's going to take a while. But man, I was just thinking about it today. And I mean, I could have gotten hurt so much worse. It could have been a situation to where no one was there to help me out. I think live streaming it maybe gave me a little bit of positive energy from people who like me, who watch. It makes a difference. I don't care what anyone says. So that was interesting. That happened over the weekend. Um, on a spiritual note, and I'm not saying that this is the case because I take responsibility for not paying enough attention to, you know, the bike path or the curb, but I was warned a long time ago that when you actively, publicly share your spiritual studies and your belief in God and Jesus Christ, things happen to where you do have to be extra careful because the devil doesn't like it. Lucifer doesn't like when you do that. The material world is supposed to be more so his realm, but God gives us free will. So I'm not saying that that's what happened, but just when you watch, if you decide to watch the video footage of my accident, and I'll link it up in the description of this particular Bible commentary today, it was so fast that that person came by and stopped and helped me. It wasn't even like a minute. So I do think that was divine intervention. I really do because of just everything about that person. He was very calming for me also. And I was upset that day. I had a lot of negative energy in me. I was moaning and groaning, complaining, getting frustrated before I even started on the scooter ride. So I think it was a big spiritual lesson day for me. It was a lesson to don't make up silly songs comprised of curse words when you're riding your e-scooter or anytime. Don't well, I did do some things right. I'm not going to be too hard on myself. I was wearing my helmet at least, but maybe don't go at that time of day when it's so bright out because my eyes still are not used to how bright it is. I'm in the California area right now. I guess you would call it Southwest California. And it's super bright. The elevation is higher here too than what I'm used to. And my body's still adjusting to that. So I noticed that I do have better visibility when it's maybe after 4 to 5 p.m. and the sun's starting to go down. I was wearing my glasses. My glasses probably shielded my eyes from having any damage, but the side of the glasses dug into my face a little bit, which is probably why I have the swelling. You like this version of me? Me too. I'm really working on myself. That's why I came out to the Southwest California area, or Southeast, not West. I'm still, for some reason, I got my directions flip flopped. It's Southeast, Southeast, but it's been good for me. The higher altitude is better for my physiology. The lower humidity is better for me overall. Um, I've really gotten a lot of sun out here. I know I was complaining about the visibility, but I'm somebody whose body, I think, requires a lot of sunshine. And for the past 2 years, um, even though Texas is hot, it's not really sunny. It's weird. I'm not against Texas at all. There's wonderful things about Texas, but I'm really happy to be on the West Coast right now. Um, just the way the weather here is agrees with me really well. And I've just, where I'm staying, I have a lot of privacy. And I've just, been laying out in the sunshine. That's why I'm a little bit upset about getting hurt because of the scrapes, because it's going to hinder me laying out in the sunshine because I got to be careful about, as my skin heals, because it's a pretty big scrape on my shoulder. I scraped up my shoulder, my elbow. I got a bruise on my outer part of my knee. But that's about it. It's not bad. On my waist area, I got a little bit of I'm a little sore, but it could have been so much worse when I really think about it. It could have been so much worse. So I'm grateful. I'll be more careful when I'm outdoors, but that's not going to hinder me from going outside because I really enjoy being outside. I think I'm a bit more of an outdoorsy person than I was thinking. When I was living out in California permanently many years ago, between the years of, I guess, 2008 and 2011, somewhere in there. There's a window in there. I was living in the Los Angeles area. Um, at that time, I was feeling really outdoorsy. I was dating a guy who had kind of created his image as being Mr. Outdoorsy, but in hindsight, he wasn't as outdoorsy as he acted like he was. But that did open up my mind to hiking, cat camping. When I was a little girl, I was in Girl Scouts. My mom and dad had me enrolled in that kind of a thing. But I just really like being outside. And in this area of California that I'm in, it's pretty much like an indoor outdoor kind of lifestyle that people live. The outdoors is pretty much indoors, and I like that a lot. And being that I can work remotely, and everything that I do for the most part is internet based, so I'm fine as long as there's internet connection. But I really like the freshness of the atmosphere out here. I've really worked on myself a lot out here. I was thinking I was only going to be out here a month, but I think it's going to be a bit longer because I'm able to be in a place to where I have a lot of land around me. So I can yell and scream and I'm not bothering anybody. I like to do my music and stuff so I can sing really loud and no one can hear me, or I'm not bothering anyone. I can run around out here. It's great. It's really great. And there's a lot of places like this out here to where I think a lot of people like me like to come out and, you know, kind of reconnect with themselves. But that's where I'm at right now. I'm really blessed to be able to kind of put myself into self-imposed, independently created rehab mode, but work at the same time. That's good. So I just feel really grateful and gracious and appreciative to life. I was saying on my other channel that I don't even mind the pain, the physical pain of the accident, because I've been dealing with a lot of internal pain, and sometimes you need the balance of the external to the internal in order to feel better when it comes to healing from the internal pain. So that's where I'm at. That is where I'm at. Yeah, it was nasty. It was a nasty fall, reality, Nancy. That was crazy. You got to do it with me. You got to have kind of a almost a first person view, because I was wearing my holster for my live stream, my chest holster that particular day. Man. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into today's reading. Sorry that I took forever to get into this. We're in the book of Judges, chapter 4. But I did want to share with all of y'all how I'm doing and whatnot. And that's really how these readings and commentaries are going to go for a while, indefinitely. Because, the Bible is the living word, and the living word is about life. It just is. Okay, so here we go. The book of Judges, chapter 4. Deborah. When Ehud was dead, the Israelites once more did what was evil in the sight of the Lord. Those Israelites, they keep doing bad stuff, at least at this time. The Lord sold them into the hands of King Jabin of Canaan, who ruled in Hazor. The commander of his army was Sisera. He lived in Harosheth, Hagoyim. And on a side note, I always like that name, Sisera, for some reason. The Israelites cried out to the Lord, for Sisera had 900 iron chariots and had forcefully oppressed the Israelites for 20 years. Now Deborah, the wife of Lepidoth, was a prophetess. She judged Israel at that time. She would sit under the palm tree of Deborah between Ramah and Bethel in the hill country of Ephraim. The Israelites would go up to her for her to render judgment. She sent for Barak, son of Abinadab from Kadesh in Naphtali, and said to him, "The Lord God of Israel commands you, go and deploy troops at Mount Tabor, and take 10,000 men from the tribes of Naphtali and Zebulun with you. I will draw Sisera, the commander of the army of Jabin, with his chariots and large army to you at the river Kishon, and give him into your hands." Barak said to her, "If you will go with me, then I will go, but if you will not go with me, then I will not go." As a side note, there's a lot of names within the book of Judges that are kind of common names today, which is interesting. Like Deborah, think about all the Debbies that you probably know. I didn't realize that there was an area of the Bible called Deborah for some reason. Barack Obama, that name is in here. You've had falls where you've broken bones, reality Nancy. You know what's funny about me, reality Nancy? Knock on wood, for sure. I've never broken a bone in my entire life. Never. I mean, if you consider teeth bones, then yes. I've lost a couple teeth. I've had some cavities, stuff like that. I've cracked a tooth, more than one tooth. So if you consider teeth bones, yeah, but bones as in my body, my skeleton, never have. And that's why I was thinking about that fall on Saturday. The just all that pavement, the speed I was going at, how I fell. I am so fortunate I didn't break any bones. My age, think about my age. I'm 46, on a freaking scooter. Man, I am so lucky that I didn't break any bones. Very fortunate. So I'm just going to keep my fitness up. I'm going to keep exercising and stretching every day and, taking my vitamins and everything because I think that it's made a difference. I really think it has. Um, I'm blessed with good genetics. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. But I definitely, that's part of why I came out here to California. California, something about the energy out here too. It really kind of encourages you to be more health conscious. The population out here is a bit more health conscious than in other areas of the United States. Um, the air quality here is better, a lot better. And that's important to me. I like being able to really breathe. The nature, the land here is clean. And I like being in clean environments. I'm a little agoraphobic. I like that being out here also, I can have my space and it's affordable for me. I need space more so than I think a lot of people do. At least at this point in my life, I do. I do not like living on top of other people. I don't like living in apartment buildings. Not at this point. I feel way better having land around me. Sometimes I don't want to see people every day. Oh, look who's in here. NorCal. I guess you saw you know what, NorCal? You can never say that I don't do IRL. Was that not real enough for you? And you know what, NorCal, no matter how you feel about me at the particular moment, whether you like me or you hate me, you will find some sort of enjoyment in that particular video. All right, let's continue with this. Yeah, you know what? That that needed to happen for me, not only physically, but to restore my faith in humanity, NorCal. That guy who helped me was very nice, and having that stream as a permanent memory that I can always look back at, because I was going through a lot of emotions that day. But I'm glad that that day happened. So, anyway, let me get back to what I was reading. Now, Deborah, the wife of Lapidoth, was a prophetess. She judged Israel at that time. She was sit under the palm tree of Deborah between Ramah and Bethel in the hill country of Ephraim. The Israelites would go up to her for her to render judgment. She sent for Barak, son of Abinoam from Kadesh in Naphtali, and said to him, "The Lord God of Israel commands you, go and deploy troops at Mount Tabor and take 10,000 men from the tribes of Naphtali and Zebulun with you. I will draw Sisera, the commander of the army, with Jabin with his chariots and my large army to you at the river Kishon and give him into your hands." So she wasn't just a prophetess, she was a strategist. This woman embodied the ability of military strategy. Barak said to her, "If you will go with me, then I will go. But if you will not go with me, then I will not go." She said, "I will indeed go with you." However, the way you are going will gain you no glory, for the Lord will deliver Sisera into the hands of a woman. Then Deborah got up and went with Barak to Kadesh. Barak called Zebulun and Naphtali to Kadesh. 10,000 men went up on foot with him, and Deborah went up with him also. Now Heber the Kenite had moved away from the Kenites, who were descendants of Hobab, Moses' father-in-law. He pitched his tent at the oak in Zanim near Kadesh. That's a new word. I don't think I said that right. Zananim. Then they told Sisera that Barak, son of Abinoam, had gone up to Mount Tabor. So Sisera summoned all his 900 iron chariots and all the people with him from Harosheth, Hagoim, I don't know if I can say this, Hagoyim, to the river Kishon. So it's called Harosheth Hagoyim. Then Deborah said to Barak, "Get up, for this is the day that the Lord has given Sisera into your hand." So her name is Deborah. I don't know why I was thinking it was talking about a city called Deborah. That's her name. "Has not the Lord gone out before you?" So Barak went down from Mount Tabor with 10,000 men behind him. The Lord routed Sisera and all his chariots and all of his army with the edge of the sword in front of Barak. Sisera dismounted his chariot and fled on foot. Barak chased after the chariots and the army as far as Harosheth Hagoyim. The whole army of Sisera fell by the edge of the sword. Not a single man survived. Sisera fled on foot to the tent of Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite, for there was peace between King Jabin of Hazor and the family of Heber the Kenite. Jael went, or it might be pronounced Hael, I'm not sure, Jeel, went out to meet Sisera and said to him, "Turn aside, my lord, turn aside to me. Do not be afraid." So he turned aside to her into the tent, and she covered him with a rug. He said to her, "Please give me a little water to drink, for I am thirsty." So she opened a leather milk container, gave it to him to drink, and covered him. He said to her, "Stand in the entrance to the tent. If anyone comes in and asks you, 'Is there a man here?' then you say no." Then Jael, the wife of Heber, took a tent peg and a hammer in her tent and went quietly to him, for he was fast asleep and tired. She drove the tent peg into his temple, and it went down into the ground, so he died. Ooh, that's pretty graphic. And behold, as Barak was pursuing Sisera, Jael came out to meet him and said, "Come, and I will show you the man whom you seek." When he came in, there was Sisera fallen dead with a tent peg in his temple. So God humbled King Jabin of Canaan before the Israelites that day. The Israelites grew more and more powerful over King Jabin of Canaan until he was no more. And that's the end of chapter 4 of the book of Judges. Tomorrow we go into chapter 5. Oh, it's a song or a poem. Well, we might do chapter 5 and chapter 6 tomorrow, since chapter 5 is it's titled The Song of Deborah. You know what? Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn this into an AI song. I'll play that at the beginning of tomorrow's stream. That's what I'll do. And then I'll read Judges 6. So 5 and 6 will be together. All right, someone is in here saying, "Oh, thanks for the compliment. I appreciate that." Yeah, so that's it for today. Today's stream was a bit personal, but also we got into what we needed to get into. So, just so that you guys know who haven't listened to the previous chapters of the book of Judges, Judges is interesting. It's a lot about war, military, um, strategies, how God basically created assassins at that time to help out the Israelites. The Israelites keep getting themselves in trouble by not following the Lord's word and doing what they're supposed to do according to God. But God keeps helping them out, but it's a lot of lessons learned. So this is an interesting book. Let's see how many chapters are in the book of Judges. How many? 21. Okay, 21. Then after that, the book of Ruth. And then after that, two books of Samuel, Samuel 1 and Samuel 2. So let me get going. I will probably do a recap live stream today. I want to recap an interaction on a panel between two of my favorite streamers. And you know what? I'm going to have to edit the footage first because both of them, I feel like it's a little bit of a spiritual test for me when it comes to certain people that I contend with online who utilize a lot of really racist terminology. I don't think that they realize how they're isolating themselves by doing that because there's people who like them but who don't want to hear that because it's hurtful. That's why. Not because words should hurt, but it just has to do with the history behind certain meanings of words, which maybe is why it's good how language changes over time. New words are created, old words are forgotten about. There's definitely some words today that need to be forgotten about, for sure. All right, let's see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, we've already gotten through the Moses era of the Bible, but if you go back, I have all my readings of the various books of the Bible so far archived on this channel under my Bible playlist. So we've gone through Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, and now we're in Judges. I really liked Exodus and Leviticus a lot. Numbers was a little hard to get through. But a lot goes on in the Bible. You learn a lot. All right, everyone, have a great day. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you later, probably tomorrow. Bye bye.